I've been sitting in this driveway for 40 minutes, engine off. The house is dark, except for the bedroom window. She doesn't know I'm out here. I've been trying to figure out when I should have known. I keep landing on the same answer. 8 months ago. Maybe longer. Let me tell you about the candle first. She brought it back from a weekend trip. Cedar and something else. Smoke, maybe, or rain. She handed it to me like it was nothing. The way you hand someone a souvenir. She said she saw it and thought of me. I burned it on the kitchen table over 3 weeks. Every time I lit it, I thought, this is the kind of thing people do when they're happy. Bring things back. Think of you when you're not there. I burned it all the way down to the glass. I'm telling you this because it matters. Not in the way I thought it did. 3 years in, our relationship was the kind of good that doesn't announce itself. No grand gestures. No dramatic fights we'd laugh about later. Just Friday nights in and Saturday mornings slow and her stealing my side of the bed every time I got up first. She ran cold, always had. She'd press her feet against my legs in the night and I'd complain and she'd ignore me and I never actually minded. She called me on her lunch break even when there was nothing to say. That was the version of her I knew, the one who called anyway. I was the kind of man who thought that meant everything was fine. For a long time I was right. It started 8 months before I found out. That's the number I keep coming back to. She started saying I love you more. Not dramatically. Not in the way that would make you stop and look at her. Just more often. When I left for work in the morning. When I handed her coffee. Once, in the middle of a conversation about whether we needed a new shower curtain, she just said it, mid-sentence, like it had been waiting and couldn't wait any longer. I noticed. Of course, I noticed. But I named it wrong. I decided she'd read something. A book about relationships, maybe, or an article. Something that told her to say it more. People do that. They read something and they try it, and after a while it becomes normal. I felt good about us. I told my brother things were really solid right now. He said, that's great, man. I meant it. I was right that something had changed. I had the wrong reason. The lunch calls got shorter around the same time, then every other day. Then she'd text instead. Busy today, talk tonight. Tonight she was always tired. I didn't track it. I told myself this is what long relationships look like. The calls taper, the texts replace them. That's just how it goes. People get busy, people get comfortable. The I love yous were still coming. I held on to that. What I didn't ask was why both things were happening at once. Why the words were expanding while everything else was quietly contracting. I didn't ask because I didn't want the question. That's the honest version. 4 months before I found out, I noticed she was always home on time. Exactly on time. This sounds like nothing. It is nothing on its own. But she had never been exact before. She'd been late. She'd been early. She'd texted from the parking lot to say she was stopping somewhere first. That unpredictability was just her. And then it stopped. Her schedule became precise. I didn't understand why until much later. A person's schedule only gets that precise when they're managing 2 of them. 6 weeks out, she told me about the trip. A weekend away with a friend from work. 2 hours north. A cabin near a lake. She showed me pictures on her phone. The porch, the trees, the water. She was relaxed telling me about it. Easy. That's the word. She answered every question I didn't ask. The friend's name. Who was driving. How they'd found the place. I didn't ask questions. There was nothing in her face that asked for them. She was gone Friday night to Sunday afternoon. She texted me Saturday morning. A photo of the lake, mist on the water. Beautiful up here. Miss you. I sent back a photo of the dog, looking bored on the couch. She sent a laughing emoji. It felt like us. Sunday, she came home with the candle. Cedar. Maybe smoke. Maybe rain. I lit it that night. I wasn't looking for anything. It was a Tuesday, 2 months later. Her phone was dead and mine had the longer charger. She asked me to plug it in on the nightstand while she was in the shower. I did. I went back to the kitchen. A few minutes later, I heard it buzz. I went back to turn the screen off. You know how it is? The light bothers you when you're trying to sleep. I picked it up. The notification was from a name I didn't recognize. Not a work name she'd mentioned. Not a friend. Just a name. And under it, the first line of a message that was not the first message. I read it the way you read something you already know. Quickly. Without surprise. The way you read the last page of a book you figured out 2 chapters ago. Like confirming a fact you've been carrying without realizing it. I put the phone face down on the nightstand. I went to the kitchen. I filled a glass of water and stood at the sink and drank it. Outside the window, the street was empty. A car was parked under the orange light of the street lamp. I looked at it for a while. She came out of the shower. I heard the bathroom door. I heard the nightstand drawer open and close. I heard her get into bed. I stayed in the kitchen. I didn't wake her. I didn't call anyone. I wasn't ready to make it real in that way, the way it becomes real when you say it out loud to someone else. Right now, it was just mine, a thing I knew alone, in a kitchen, in the dark. I sat at the table until it got light. At some point, I started counting. The I love yous from the day before. 4. She had said it 4 times. In the morning, when I brought her coffee, when she was leaving for work, once at night, unprompted, from the other room. Like it had been waiting and couldn't wait any longer. 8 months of that. I counted back, and I understood, finally, what I had been holding on to. It wasn't love expanding. It was guilt. Guilt that needed somewhere to go. And love was the closest door. Every I love you for 8 months had been a small apology I didn't know I was receiving. I thought about all the times I'd felt good about us. All the times I'd told people, things are really solid right now. I got up from the table, put on my shoes, went to the car. I've been sitting here 40 minutes. The bedroom light is still on. She doesn't know I'm out here. I keep thinking about what I'm going to do when I go back inside. Whether I'll say something, whether she'll be able to tell just from looking at me. Whether I'll be able to tell just from looking at her. And then I keep coming back to the candle. She brought it back from that trip. Cedar and smoke and rain. She handed it to me like it was nothing. She said she saw it and thought of me. I burned it all the way down to the glass. 3 weeks. Every night on the kitchen table. I thought it was the best thing she'd given me in years. I still don't know if I was wrong about that.